What the heck? Joshua Slone shouted out Happy Humble Club. What the heck? Quick story time. Me and my wife went to watch Mr. Joshua Slone last night in Dallas. Discovered the young man on the internet. Man, this guy is tapped into something that is rare. Packed house, bunch of kids, young kids. I was old enough to be everyone's dad in there. Maybe 2 or 3 people I could be their dad, but there were most of the people in there I was old enough to be their dad. The show was absolutely insane. He's just pure, super talented. You can tell though he hasn't played a ton of shows. In between each song, people would be yelling stuff. It was overwhelming to me, and people weren't even yelling at me, they were yelling at him. But he did an incredible job of trying to manage it. But between each song was pretty hectic, pretty wild. And about 3/4 of the way through the show, in between one of the songs, and I had leaned over to my wife to say something, and all of a sudden I hear out of the corner of my ear, I hear Joshua say from stage, he's like, hey, he was like, hey, I like, got the guy representing the Happy Humble Club over here. And like my head just immediately was like, what? Hey, yo, I think I yelled it. Everybody around me was like, what's up with this guy? And it was my dog, Jackson Malone, the first kind of like sponsored on flow guy for Happy Humble Club. There's more of that coming later. I want to explain exactly what my vision is for that, but all that to say is I've shipped a bunch of stuff to Jackson Malone, kind of like a skateboarding sponsor or something. Jackson was wearing this hat here, Happy Humble Club script, not this exact one, but this hat. Dude, Joshua Slone looked out from the stage, saw the hat, recognized it was Happy Humble Club, and Jackson had yelled something like, hey, yeah, he sponsored me or something, which I have. Just recognized like, hey, this guy, I really like what he's doing. I'd love to ship him some stuff. Maybe he'll wear it, maybe he won't, I don't know. And Joshua actually does, he wears the shirts. I see it on the internet all the time. He wears a hoodie, and I think he was wearing a t-shirt when he was hanging out with Zach Bryan, which is crazy. Sorry to name drop. And I was just like, hey, there was like no chill, possibly cringe, but I was just like, hey, that's me. And like everybody around me was like, what is it? And then they realized that Joshua was talking about me, and they were like, hey, yeah, it's him. And Hudson, I think the steel player, saw me waving and was like yelling. He's like, hey, he's over there. And Joshua looked out to the crowd and saw me, and I think he recognized me from the internet. I don't know. It looked like he recognized me, and it was just a cool moment. And it felt incredible. I mean, this little side hustle that I've dreamed up, this little merch company, side hustle thing that I do in my garage has made that impact. Even if it's just one guy who I really enjoy his music, really respect, recognizes the brand and like thinks it's cool enough to wear. It just feels really cool, and it was a ton of air in my cells. Full transparency, Happy Humble Club has kind of had to take a back seat to my own music, my own career, shows, stuff like that. I haven't had a lot of time and money to kind of dump towards the Happy Humble Club stuff. But after last night, man, Joshua recognizing the brand, shouting me out, I think recognizing me from the stage. It was just, it was like, man, I got to make some more stuff. And I got to keep this thing going, because it was just a huge encouragement, and I was like, wow, this is actually connecting. So thank you so much to Jackson Malone for wearing the hat, and of course thank you to Mr. Joshua Slone to celebrate Joshua Slone recognizing it from the stage. For 1 week, happyhumbleclub.com. You can use the code Joshua, 25% off the whole store. I've got a ton of hats, got some shirts. I got a lot of new stuff coming. So if you see this, please follow along. Thank you so much to Joshua for an incredible show. Thank you for doing what you do, man. You're big time real, and I can't wait to see what happens with your career. And I'm going to try to edit this down to something manageable. But Joshua Slone, if you haven't heard him, check him out. I feel incredibly lucky to have seen him in a room with 200, 300 people, because I don't think he's going to be playing those size rooms ever again. So I feel incredibly lucky to have been there. Thanks again to Jackson Malone. Thank you to Joshua Slone. Those names rhyme. So incredible show. Use code Joshua, 25% off for the next week. happyhumbleclub.com. Thank you for following along. Please join us. And yeah, man, let's have a great rest of the year. See y'all around.